All right, we're going to check out this Coleman BT200X today in orange. It's got a 196cc, 6.5 horse engine, as do all the BT and CT 200 series. Pull start, of course, as your choke on off and your fuel on off. Kill switch on, kill switch off, twist throttle. Rear brake only, as with most mini bikes. Drum. Centrifugal clutch, chain drive. With this model you get a headlight that runs continuously as long as the engine's on. This one comes in at 138 pounds according to Coleman's website, with a 200-pound rider occupancy. The BT in the name BT200X denotes the big tube frame, so this frame's a little bit larger than the other ones, so I guess theoretically stronger, because it is a larger and I believe a little bit thicker frame. But considering the others are in the 130-pound weight range, also doesn't add too terribly much weight, only a few pounds for that larger frame. Now, this is still completely stock out of the box. It still has the throttle stop screw and the governor. We'll be removing all that later, and I'll be posting videos on how to do that and the results afterwards, but for the sake of the review video, I left that alone. So it is still governed both with the throttle stop and with the governor, which means they top out at about 19-20 miles an hour. So like I said, the weight capacity is 200 pounds. I'm actually coming in about 220 right now. I mean, it'll even move around a 300-pound person, but if you're going to be driving it around, you know, up inclines and around in the yard with small hills and stuff like that, you're definitely going to want to abide by that weight limit, because it will eventually burn up that centrifugal clutch. And you could probably overwork the motor too, but I've seen people much larger than me ride these around with no problem. It's just not going to fare very well if you expect too much of it if you're over that weight capacity. Also forget to mention, with this model you get the front shocks, the forks here. There's no rear suspension, but having that front suspension makes a world of difference compared to the standard BT200U, where it's real choppy and bouncy. So that gives you a lot smoother ride. That's one advantage of this model. But that's about it for a quick overview, so I'll fire it up now and we'll take some laps around on it and get some pulls. If you want to see more of this Mustang here, you can just check out my Mustang playlist on the channel. I have all the videos of that on there. Also, if you want to see the other mini bikes I have, and any future videos that'll be posting after this, modifications and whatnot, reviews of the other models, make sure you check out the mini bike playlist as well if you want to see what you missed. Also, one thing I want to mention, that obviously you got to use the choke there to start it up, flip it back off after it fires up. If it's real cold, you might need to leave it on for a few seconds before you flip it off. But I've noticed with these models with the 196cc engine, even after you've been riding around for an hour, if you shut it off and then go to, like, say, fire it back up 5 or 10 seconds later because you shut it off because you were trying to talk to somebody or something, typically it won't fire back up unless you flip the choke back on, even though it's 100% warmed up. So, minor inconvenience, but I just wanted to let that be known. Alright, so just as I did with the BT200X, I'm going to display the hill climbing ability, or lack thereof I should say, with that centrifugal clutch as opposed to a CVT torque converter. They don't have very much off the line power, especially if you're heavy. So I'm not sure what grade this is, but it's something like that. If you try to start on a hill like that, it's just not gonna go. Maybe if you're like 100 pounds. Now once you get going, it'll be fine. Once you get going, you should be able to maintain speed full throttle going up a hill like that. But I'm going to show you that starting out on it doesn't work so well. Now you can fix that by putting a CVT belt drive torque converter thing on here, as they call it. Replace the centrifugal clutch, gives it a lot more torque off the line. I will be doing that to at least one of these, probably this one honestly, in the future, so we'll do a video on that and I'll show the differences. But for now I just want to show you basically what it does as it comes. Not very good for starting out on a hill, although you can chug up one after you get going. So like I said, don't plan on going up any real steep hills. You could go up that once you get a run for it, so you just want to keep that in mind. If you're wanting to do any serious hill climbing with it, you probably want to get a torque converter or add more power. And one other option is you can change the spring out in that clutch so that it doesn't engage into a higher RPM, which will obviously wear it out faster. But that's also something I'm going to be doing on top of the CVT torque converter. I'm going to be comparing doing that with the centrifugal clutch compared to a belt drive system with the CVT or the torque converter, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you can tell, but it rained a couple hours ago. It came out after it rained, and yeah, it's very slippery. Oh, that was fun. One thing I noticed, this rear tire, well, it's even packing up a little bit now, but you can still see the knobby sticking out a little bit there. Whereas with the front tire, it packs up a lot. So when you lean the bike to turn, you're riding in on this right here. So that front tire gets slippery too. I just slipped down there a couple times just turning. The front end would slide on me a little bit. And then hopefully you caught me spinning the rear tire coming around this corner a little bit. Now I know this isn't a dirt bike, but a dirt bike has a lot more traction in this kind of stuff. And I think that's because these tires are so balloony and wide and whatnot. They don't dig down, especially since the bike isn't that heavy. They don't dig down and grab like a dirt bike does. But you know, that's not what it's for, but I like testing all aspects. So that's about it, guys. I haven't had any issues with any of these bikes yet. This one right here probably has 6 or 7 hours on it, no issues. The camo bike that I reviewed probably got 7 or 8. Haven't had any issues out of them yet, so even though I'm too big for them technically, and well, you can see what we do to them. They've been holding up all right so far. So like I said, I have plans for these. We're going to be removing the throttle stops on them, removing the governors. We're going to be installing the belt drive CVT torque converter on at least one of them. I'm going to be modifying the springs on another with the clutch so that it'll engage at a later RPM. We'll be doing a stage 1 and stage 2 performance packages, possibly even building one of the motors from the inside out. Eventually a Predator 212 swap to compare. I'd like to eventually do a 420 swap and one of the Tillotson racing motors. And I got a few other things planned too that I'm not going to reveal just yet. Some pretty cool custom stuff I have planned. Anyways, all that and more to come. If you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, click all to be notified when I post. If you want to see what you've missed, check out the Minibike playlist. Again, if you want to see the Stang, there's a playlist for that too, or you can just scroll through the videos. That's pretty much going to wrap it up though. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.